What's going on, guys? Glad you could make it out here tonight. We are in Weatherford, Texas. It's been a pretty wonderful week. We've had quite a few loads over the last couple of weeks. We went up to Wyoming, Pennsylvania, Colorado. We've been all over the place. And tonight we're going to talk about some of the benefits and drawbacks of the different setups for your trucks and your trailers and whatnot. What I'm currently using is a 36-foot load max with dual 10K axles and a 2018 F350 dually. I was using a 2018 F350 single wheel, which is also a pretty good truck. One thing about Ford is they use the same motor and transmission on all their trucks, like from 250 on up to 550, maybe even the 6 and 750. I'm not sure about those, but the main difference, even the number of leaf springs is going to be the same on the 350 single wheel and the 350 dually. The reason I went to a dually is because the carrying capacity for the tires, because you got 4 tires in the back instead of just the 2 that you do with a single wheel. And also it comes with lower gear ratios, which means that it's able to pull more because it's the gear ratio is lower. The drawback on that is the fuel mileage. It gets about 1 mile per gallon less than the 350 single wheel, which I kind of miss. We still got it running around, but I'm not driving it right now. For those of you guys that know me personally, you know that I used to use the Rams, and I still have a Ram in the fleet, or a couple of them. They're old. Well, 2 of them are older models, and one of them is 2016. One thing that Ford really squared away on their Power Strokes this time around is the maintenance, like the user level maintenance. It is insanely cheaper, or not. Yeah, it's cheaper, but it's also a lot easier to do yourself because of the way they Power Strokes this time around is the way they place the oil filter and the drain plug. It's super easy to get to it. Like, you go out to a F250, 350, 450, you turn the wheels, and you can actually turn the wheels to the left. You can actually see the oil filter and the drain plug without even having to get under the truck. So that makes, like, when you get under there, it's just right there, and then the drain plug is right here. It makes it super freaking easy to do that maintenance instead of trying to chase stuff down. Like with the Ram, the oil filter is like halfway down the motor and then kind of halfway back towards the back of the motor. So, like, if you have super long arms like I do, if you guys know I'm being sarcastic. It makes it a super huge pain to actually have to get down in there, because the way it is, I believe, portrayed in the like user's manual or something. you're supposed to take the inside of the fender well out, and you're supposed to be able to get in there and get the oil filter, but I've not yet been able to master that method of, changing the oil. I've actually I have better luck going down from the top, even though it's insanely uncomfortable, because my arm's not long enough to go up from the bottom and get to it. And I haven't really got to do a whole lot of work, or really I haven't got my hands on the new 2019 Rams. But I did go by and check some of them out at a dealership, and you can actually see the oil filter. You look through the fender well on the passenger side, you can actually see the oil filter just kind of hanging there. So I'm suspecting that it's going to be a lot easier to do the maintenance, the oil changes. And as far as the fuel filter goes on the Power Stroke, I can actually change the one under the hood with just my hands. I don't even need any tools. Like, maybe if some of the snaps are giving you a problem, you might can get like a screwdriver and maybe pry them loose or something, but I wouldn't suggest that. The one under the truck, it's like where the seam of the bed and the cab meet together. You go under it, and it's like the front of the fuel tank. There's like it looks like a little box. It's got several, I believe they're 8mm bolts or screws. Really, they're not bolts; they're screws. That's how you change the other fuel filter on the Power Stroke. And it's got like a little yellow drain plug, and you just twist it and it drains out, I don't know, like a liter, 2 or 3 liters of diesel fuel in that thing. It's quite a bit. I'll usually set it to drain, and then I'll change the one under the hood, and hopefully by the time I come back it's drained out. But the one in the Ram, it's towards the back of the motor, and like I have to get back down in there, and you have to have like an 1.125" socket to unscrew the lid that the fuel filter goes in. And on mine, whoever changed it last has put that thing on there with like it's insanely tight. Like, I'm trying to loosen it, and it's twisting the whole fuel filter housing. So I may actually have to have that one professionally changed so that I don't, rip it off the motor block. That would be terrible. The one under the bed is at the very back of the truck, and it's also got like a little drain plug, and you like twist it or something to drain all the diesel fuel out of the filter. It looks more like a an oil filter. It's round. You just twist it off and put another one back in there. You have to take out the little old or water sensor in it. But I haven't got to actually use any of the 4500s yet, so I don't know how they handle a 450 in the Power Stroke. I haven't got to use any of those yet. But tire rotations and stuff like that, that's pretty easy. But me, as of right now, unless I plan to go like a lot bigger on my trailer, I'm going to stay at the 350. I may look at a Ram eventually. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm pretty happy with the Ford right now. The single wheel I got, it's a King Ranch, and if you guys haven't got to drive one of those things are pretty nice. The seats are super soft. They actually massage you, which I don't use that very often, but the heated seats are really nice. My dually's a Lariat. It doesn't have massaging chairs, but it still has heated seats. That's super nice. The main thing, like with the King Ranch, it's got the push button start, which I imagine the other ones are that way too. After 30 minutes, the truck will cut off. So if you're not expecting that, just keep that in mind. The trucks have a motion sensor on the inside of the cab. So if you lock the cab with the key and then go to sleep, it may randomly go off during the night, the car alarms and stuff, and that's super annoying. It's happened to me several times. So what you end up having to do is you have to go around each door and lock them manually so that the interior alarm does not go off. Also, the main thing I've noticed with the dually versus the single rear wheel, on the way back from El Paso this time now, granted I had two cars on the 350 and I had one single F250 crew cab long wheelbase on the dually. It seems like the single wheel, the transmission and the transmission temperature runs hotter, but the motor temperature, like the oil and the coolant temperature, seem to run hotter on the dually. That may have something to do with the fact that it runs at 500 to 600 more RPMs than the single wheel because of the gear ratio. The 355 at 68 miles an hour is sitting on like 1600 RPMs. The 410s is sitting right at 2 to 2100 RPMs. So, that's the difference there. When we go to look at the trailers, I have several different trailers in my fleet. I have all three of them are 36 foot now currently. Two of them are single wheels, and two of them are straight decks, and one of them is a dovetail with the flip over ramps. The straight decks, I believe, if you're going to go with a 36, you probably need to go with a straight deck trailer, even though I'm not a huge fan of them. Now, unless you can get your fold-up ramps to where you can like mount them straight up on the back, because if you put two cars on the trailer, they fill up the 36 foot. Like I had a H2 and a Tahoe on there one time, and they pretty much filled up that deck space. I tried to load a F250, and I mean it's the longest one they make. It's a crew cab with a long wheelbase, and with its bumper touching the front of my trailer, the back tire was sitting over the halfway mark on my deck. So I only had 15 feet of space left after that, which is not a lot, and I was trying to load an additional car, a Raptor, to come back. And hold on 1 second. One of my buddies sent me a text message. See if I can get him to tune in to our live stream. But so that if I would have had, and I even took the 250 off, rearranged it, put the Raptor back on there, and I had the F250 going up on the trailer, and I'm not even shitting you, the back tires were they were actually touching the trailer deck, but they were on the ramps. That's how close I was to being able to actually load both of those vehicles. And that's disheartening because I left $1,200 sitting in Tucson, Arizona. So instead of coming back with $2,200, I came back with $1,000 even. And it's heartbreaking, guys. So that's the benefit of having a 40-foot trailer or a 38-foot. I think Diamond C's the ones they make it in 38 feet. But most people run a 40. And that's the reason why, because if I'd have had a 40-foot trailer, I wouldn't have had that problem. I'd have both vehicles on there, and we would be bopping back on to Tennessee and Alabama. But if you're going to, I like a 36, and the reason I like a 36 foot is because it's long enough that I can still get most loads on the trailer, but it's short enough that I can still get around in most like Walmarts and whatnot. Because a lot of the newer Walmarts I'm seeing, they're building them where the parking lot is not very friendly to people in semi trucks or longer vehicles because they got the little islands with the trees and shit. They post those. They're putting them everywhere. But a 36 foot, you can still get around those fairly easy. And from what I've seen, as long as you can get in their parking lot without running through their flower beds and shit, they're not going to fuck with you. But man, losing $1,200 really sucks. I may end up going to a 40 eventually. Let's see. So the straight deck, while if you're going to have a lower, less than 40-foot trailer, the straight deck's probably going to be your best bet because of the way you can load it. Whereas like with the 36 foot with the dovetail and the ramps, you can't really load two cars on it because the second car is actually sitting where the ramps need to fold down. Now, I can probably, do some fabricating on the trailer and make it to where the ramps will stay straight up. And if that's the case, then it'll be long enough to fit on there. The dovetail allows you to load a wider variety of vehicles because the angle of approach to get on the trailer is a lot more tapered than it is with the straight deck and the slide out ramps. So I think my ramps, they're like 8 inches. 8 feet, and anything lower to the ground than like a like 2014, 2015 Tahoe, and you're gonna have problems. It's gonna catch. I know we tried to load a GMC Traverse on there one time, and it wouldn't work. Well, I'll give you this. I had a Bobcat on the front of the trailer, and it was pushing down enough on the truck that a 4-door Jeep Wrangler bottomed out trying to load it up on the trailer, and I had to back up to like an inclined hill and put the ramps where they're more straight out and drive across onto the straight deck. When I got to Alabama to unload that Bobcat, now let me tell you, that's nerve-wracking because all you got is those 2 little ramps hung on the end of the trailer, and you got to drive that piece of equipment off of it. Yeah, that was nerve-wracking. Oh, and it's going to limit you from being able to haul like heavier wheeled and track vehicles. Like, for example, I got a buddy named Michael Ray, and he's got a 40-foot Big Tex with the mega ramps, and he loaded I'm not sure what it looks like a tanker trailer, but it was from the Army, and they rolled that bitch right up on his trailer, and he said that thing weighed like 14,000 pounds. I'm not going to be able to load that on my straight deck trailer because the ramps can't support that much weight. And it's another one of those loads I wouldn't have been able to get because my trailer is 36 foot. So there you go. Some benefits to the single wheel trailers. You can get them around stuff a little easier because, you look at the tire, it's about this wide versus a dually, which is, is twice as wide as that. So navigating around like curbs and stuff is a little easier with the single wheel trailers. But like I was in, where was I at? Pennsylvania somewhere. When I first got the trailer, I had one of the treads separate from the tire when I was doing my pre-trip inspection the following morning. One tire, all that I could see was belt, like the steel belt. And had I had a single wheel tire, I don't know how long it was like that the night before. I know it wasn't like that the day before because I could see it. It was late when I rolled into that truck stop. But had I had a single wheel trailer, that would have been a blowout. Easy, no questions asked. Also, like if you have a low tire or something, as long as your load's not absurdly heavy, you got an extra tire there to kind of help you, get down the road to where you can deal with that. Mm, One thing that the obviously with the dually wheels on your trailer, you're going to be able to carry more weight. Like I believe, let's see, my 10-ply tires, they're rated for 3,500 pounds a piece. So for every four, that's 14,000 pounds. And the dually's got 8, so that's 28,000 pounds worth of tires, or worth of weight your tires can support. So my trailer's rated for 22,500 pounds. So I can't theoretically overload the tires on that trailer. Now, when you're shopping for a trailer, if you're going to buy a new, you're going to buy a used trailer, obviously, a new trailer's you're less likely to have problems with them, but not a guarantee that you won't. If you get a used trailer, and depending on how old that trailer is, it's probably going to be in your best interest just to go ahead and clean those axles right off and start with a whole new kit. Because see, at Redneck, you can get a 10,000 pound axle kit for right over $1,000. So 2 axles, you're looking at $2,000. And what that's going to come with is going to come with new drums, it's going to come with new hubs, new brakes, new bearings, new seals, new leaf springs, new brakes, and they're wired up and assembled. All you do is just bolt it to where your old suspension was. Looking back on it, I wish I had done that with my trailer, because the old axles are made by Alco, which is out of business, and the only people that make parts for those is Dexter, and they're freaking expensive. By God, they're fucking expensive. Like, one brake assembly is $250. A whole fucking axle is $1,000. So you're looking at $500 just in brakes. The drums on a new axle are $400 a piece. So 800 plus 500 or 1,300. You still got to buy the hubs, the bearings, the seals, you got to put oil in them bitches. So just buy 2 new axle kits and be done with it. Now the triple axle trailers, when compared to, because the single axle 7K axles, 14,000 pounds. Most people run that but don't have CDLs. When you step up to a CDL rig, you're above 26,000 pounds combined, which is another benefit to the single wheel, because you can actually run a heavier rated trailer and still be under the 26,000 pound GVWR combined. It's rated for 11.5. The dualies are 14, so you do the math. If you put a 14,000 pound trailer behind that dually, you're going to technically need CDLs, because you're going to be rated at 28,000 pounds, and they'll shut your ass down for that. Whereas with the single wheel, you're only at 25.5. You could actually just about run 8K axles, but I don't know if I would get triple axle, 777 or 888. I might, just because you can get the weight on there of a dual 10, but you're skipping out on 2 tires and 2 wheels. And the wheels for a dually axle is like $85 a piece, whereas the wheels for the 7K axles are like fucking $35, so they're less than half. Tires are the same price, but the wheels are half. And you're only going to use 6 instead of 8. And this is the caveat, guys. A 7K axle kit is about $370 versus a even $1,000 on the 10K axle kit. So that's why I might look at that, especially if you're trying to get that 20,000 pound rating and not have to go massively into it on like on a 10K setup. But the disadvantages to a 777 or 888 versus the dual 10s is that third axle is going to have a lot more drag, so you're probably going to wear tires out a lot faster than you would on the dual 10s. And if you have a tire problem, you're not going to have another one out there next to it to kind of take the load off of it. Some things that I would look at in the future, if I keep doing this long term driving myself, I'm going to seriously look at a 450 or a 4500 with a if I keep doing this, I'm probably going to end up getting a diamond seat trailer, because the way they made them, they took a lot of the stress points out compared to a conventional gooseneck. So they're lighter and they're rated for more weight. Like they rate their 10,000 pound axle trailers for like 25. Most traditional manufacturers only go 22. And I'll probably end up getting an air ride suspension with a lift axle. And the reason for that is because a lot of your better paying loads, now they're not out there, they're not everywhere. But if one does pop up that requests an air ride trailer, they're going to be a lot better paying loads. And with that lift axle, if you don't need an additional axle on the ground, like I'm just hauling this one truck, I'd pull that axle up, you're not going to wear that front axle, the tires out like you would on a normal, like dragging them around corners and stuff. So those are all food for thought, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. If you got any questions, concerns, or comments, drop them in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, guys, keep it rolling.